Sup y'all, are you fed up with having negative kill-death ratios? Are you tired of your team whining in the chat after every game with you? In quick play? Well, you've come to the perfect place. I've hired a real Overwatch 2 professor, Dr. Chase, to teach you guys how to play Sigma right. In the following game, he'll do an in-depth analysis of his gameplay to show you all the ins and outs of the character. Let's get right into it. Alright, Dr. Chase, you want to walk us through this game?
Alright, so my name is Dr. Chase. This is a game that I played on Sigma, so Tank, this morning. I personally feel that I played this very well, and I'm here to explain my thought process on how I played this game. By no means is this top level. I think this is about Plat Diamond, but personally, I feel proud of this game. I feel like I played this pretty well, so I'll just go through, explain my thought process. And I'll just pause real quick. So on the top right and top left, you'll see our whole team comp. I'm not going to talk about team composition just yet because during when I played this game, I wouldn't have known the enemy composition. So I won't really be commenting about the composition right now. But usually what I do, especially on King's Row, is that there's like one really small window at the top. What I like to do is that this area right here, I always look at it before the game starts in case there's a widow. As Sigma, there's not really much you can do about it, because your shots don't really go that far, and throwing a rocket here would kind of be a throw, and using any cooldowns on this would not really be worth it. But it's just good to know, especially if you're playing support or DPS, because you could get one shot by them. So that's what I always do on King's Road, just to look at them. But it's not really much of a big deal. Not much I could do about it, but you can see me looking at it before the game starts. Alright, let's get this started. So I ping the top just to make sure people somewhat see.
Attackers incoming.
They start shooting a couple things, and the first thing I see is a Ramatra, right? Sigma kind of gets eaten alive by Ramatra because he can't really stop Ramatra in any sense. Ramatra just punches through Sigma, and his cooldowns, the rock, is kind of traded out by Nemesis for him. If you're caught in his vortex, it's really brutal because you're already slow and you're already even slower, so you'll just be shot up. So it's kind of really, really bad. But one of his strengths is up close battle, so therefore me exploiting that by backing up early like how I'm doing right here already takes advantage of this and makes him push further and use more cooldowns and puts more stress on his team to even come close to me. It's also important to note that their Widowmaker got a pick on my Widowmaker, so we're already down on resources and therefore would have to give a couple of space and area. So that's exactly what I did. Ready to back up. It's also important to note that I don't use my shield here because I know we can't really accomplish anything with the shield, and I might need it in case the Widow does something, or the Zen or the Bastion does something, or the Ramatra does something. So I'm just playing it very patient. Additionally, it's important that you play around these corners, like this wall to the right or wall to the left and the gate to the right, because if you stand in the open as the tank, it will encourage your team to also stand in the open, because the only way your Life Weaver can heal you is either if he's close to the door or if he's in the open with you, which is not good, especially because they have Widow. So you want to play very, very careful and in a way that's helpful for your team to not also get shot. That is also your role as tank. I mean, kind of saying roles and jobs is kind of cringe, especially at low elo. I mean, this is like mid elo, but the idea still applies. So right now, just backing up and chilling. Backing up. Just trying to get back safely. I'm just getting that to create overhealth. I'm using that shield to protect my team. Just getting ready to back up. Using my shield to protect my team again. Pressuring out the Ramatra, pressuring the Bastion. I noticed that the Ramatra is using cooldowns on me while I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm not using cooldowns myself, which means that I think Vortex is like 12 seconds or so. So he'll have 12 seconds where I arguably have an advantage. But since they're all stacked up like this, I can't really do much. Just doing the back up. Trading that Bastion form cooldown for my suck. And using my rock when he goes in. Now the Ramatra is overextended because I properly kited his Vortex, his shield, and the rest of his cooldowns. This is his last cooldown. So I was able to safely get behind cover, use a rock, and then pressure him out like this. Now he's in a really bad position. He's destroyed, and now because I have superior cooldowns, I knew I was able to walk out against the Ramatra and kill him freely. And now it's cleanup duty. Nice shot. Bam, bam. Yes, sir. Go after the Widow. Why? I could go after the Zen arguably, but the Zen's behind a wall and the Widow's actually shooting people. So I gotta go for the Widow.
All big shots.
Go for the rock, why not? Go for crazy stuff, it literally doesn't matter. By 9 seconds, the fight is gonna restart, so I'll have my rock anyway, so might as well go for it. Pressure him out and damage him for the fight. Yes sir, yes sir. Pressure him out and walk it. Preemptively walk back, you know, not playing in the open for long. Notice they're using cooldowns. I use my suck to get over health and back up safely. My Sombra's in a bit of a tricky situation, but not much I can do about that. Tracer, no recall, not much you could do. No vortex, just backing up, keeping it really cool, not encouraging my team to play crazy. And as soon as that Ramatra goes in, I knew that he was down a couple cooldowns, but his team was too set up behind him so that I can't really just straight up fight out the Ramatra like how I did in the first fight. So I let him pass me and contest the rest of his team, which is important macro as tank. I can't really do much about the Mercy flying through me because I just used rock. I noticed that like things are kind of dying behind me, not really much I could have done about that. So we're just gonna try and either die on purpose so that we could reset or try to live somehow. So we'll see what happens. 2 coming down, 5 coming down, Loki a little unhelpful. Just try to rock him. Using cooldowns, not really much to say. I'm just trying to survive right here. Giving up space because we're probably gonna lose, and I lose my life here, but that's alright. This fight was already kind of screwed over because their Widow was kind of shooting. Oh wait, they switch off Widow, but their Tracer is really pressuring my backline in combination with the Mercy and the Ramatra. So I couldn't really do much more than I did. Maybe I could have played a little better with the cooldown trades, but you know, who knows. I believe second points kind of doesn't really do much. It kind of like devolves pretty quickly, but I do get an entry pick on the Zenyatta, which is good. Playing somewhat aggressively. I could play arguably in the open. This isn't really the open, but I could arguably play in the open because I have my shield, and that's exactly what I do. Just try to back up safely, take cover from the Bastion. Don't have to do too much. Again, Ramatra is using his cooldown, so I'm just trying to play it safe. Using my shield to help back up. Doing the same thing as I did in first fight. Notice there's Transcendence behind me, and they use counter Transcendence. So I'm in an arguably bad situation if I didn't have my ultimate, which I got the Ramatra, but I'm not sure if he dies. It's alright. And then I just trade out cooldowns using that whole stuff to take out that whole Bastion for him. Miss the rock because I'm duty crumble, but I pressure him out because he has the Discord orb. I probably just die here. This is what I mean by like the fight kind of devolves. The Ramatra is playing properly by not tunnel visioning on me. If he was trying to tunnel vision on me, it would have technically been okay because this happens. But he's going after my backline, which I can't really properly protect more than what I'm doing. So that was good on him. But yeah, this second point is really, really good just to get slammed over and over and over again with that type of brawl composition that they have, where it's kind of easy to run me over, especially with Discord Orb. But, you know, it is what it is. The first 2 points were kind of brutal, but we're doing the best we can. Pressure out the Tracer. I don't believe we can touch, but we'll try it if we get a good cooldown trade. Either we get a pick, or something happens with somebody's ultimate. So my Soldier 76 was visoring, so I tried to push to help them. Again, ignoring the Ramatra, trying to go after the res, but kind of getting ultimated, not really sure what's happening. Not much I could do right there, especially because I believe I was Discord Orb, maybe not. It would have been the same result. And now we have 5 minutes, 40 seconds for a last point. Right here, I'm considering if I should switch, because honestly, if I go like Zarya, I think I kind of just eat all of them alive, or Diva, I just eat all of them alive. But, you know, I'm a thug. I don't do counter swaps. Even though I probably should have, but it's alright. Press out the Tracer. I honestly don't know how we got up there, not gonna lie. I think he just blinked around to the high ground on the right and then blinked over, but whatever. Tracer no recall, good to know. I think... No, I can't trade out, but the Bastion's ulting. We use Transcendence, a bit of a strange decision by my Zenyatta, but I know I'm not gonna die, so I just push aggressively. And I do end up dying once the Transcendence runs out. That was kind of a misplay by me. I tried to pressure out the backline, but the Ramacho would just stay close to the hip. And trades happen with all of my team. And this whole time they have people on cart, so not looking good for us. We'll see what we can do here. Who has ult advantage? We do, actually. So my strategy right now, since they don't really have much defensive ultimates, if you look at the top left and right, they have Transcendence. So either interchangeably, my Sojourn uses her overclock first, and then forces out Transcendence, and then I use my Flux to kill them. Or alternatively, I use my Flux and then we use the Transcendence. Either kind of works. It's kind of arbitrary, but we'll see what happens. It depends on what my Sojourn does. So let's continue. Cooldown, just using my shield to try and stay alive. I have to use my shield aggressively here. Or not aggressively, but like proactively, because there's no really big cover right there in that area. I go aggressive because I generated overhealth with my suck. But I immediately start backing up. That was a really good grip because I was about to get off-angled by the Tracer. Now this is a really, really bad situation.
Yeah.
We have no ultimates. There's a whole Transcendence, and yeah, this is just really bad, and we're kind of down, but I believe we have a Zen, me, and Lifeweaver alive, so it's really up to me to really just push. But playing it patient, I know we have a couple seconds. The Ramacho plays very strangely and goes for a hard push on me. But the Lifeweaver paid attention to me, thank goodness. And we were able to pressure him out and not get destroyed by that Ramacho. So the Ramacho tunnel vision on me. The one time he tunnel visioned on me, he actually just lost the entire fight because the rest of the team locked in and was able to respawn. Anyways, cooldown trade, hit the Bastion, no need for a suck. Right here, when I turned around, I was contemplating switching, but I was like, nah, let's just stay. Let's see what happens. Just try to set up. Of course, using the long sightlines because I'm Sigma, I don't want to push really, really far and then get ran over by a Tracer and a Ramacho, especially because he could just put down his Vortex and I get eaten alive. Pressuring, gathering ult charge, maybe making them use cooldowns in some sense. Put down my shield immediately because I knew that if they want to swing out as in go in aggressively, or if we want to go in aggressively, I'm going to need my shield. So I just put down that shield immediately. Not even going to try to use it. I know the Tracer's there, but I'm not scared. That was kind of an example of what I was doing with my shield, but Ramacho can't put down his shield and he has a long cooldown. So what I do is that instead of trying to fight the aggression, I just immediately kite it and back up. Especially because, you know, Sigma thing, you just back up. They're all in one area, so it's not really dangerous to do that. But they use cooldowns, so they started to push, which means that my shield was a little bit better than the Ramacho's. Now this is really, really scary. They're ulting. He's taking the entire distraction. I'm just trying to pressure him out because it's really far extended, but I switched my targets to those who will actually do a ton of damage. So I forced out the Bastion. And because I forced them out, the Ramacho was able to die, thank goodness. And so now I could arguably use my ult, but if I get a good cooldown trade like this, I won't have to.
Yeah, that was a huge suck right there. You got the bomb.
Yeah. I noticed that the Zenyatta was kind of doing stuff, so I just started to punch him. I don't think putting your shield up like that actually works, but I decided to give it a try. Whatever. And we're able to hang on by the smallest thread. If it wasn't for that Zenyatta and Ramacho overextending, we would have gotten destroyed. Right there again, I was considering either backing up and switching, which I probably... Actually, no, I wasn't considering switching. But I was just wondering where my team was. Maga is a much easier time dealing with Sigma because Sigma at any point, if Maga uses his shout, you could just use your suck and then just take up the entire health, and it basically switches the point of his cooldown. And if he shoots you a lot or he tries to use his overrun, you could use your shield and then you won't get affected about it, I believe. And once he uses his stomp, it's really, really good to just rock him so that he could pretty much die within a second, especially if he's Discord Orb. So now I see as Maga, and I was like, okay, there's really nothing to fear. So I'm kind of just chilling. I did not see that they used they used res. Like he went in aggressively, and so I thought he would go around to the angle. I probably would have. That's fine. And because I messed up like that and I didn't use my cooldown trades as well, my soldier unfortunately died. Keep in mind as a Tracer, I have my rock. I think I just YOLO throw it here. That's fine. Either way, because I'm backing up, this rock doesn't really... This rock isn't a bad rock because my team isn't in a line of sight of anybody but the Tracer, pretty much. And otherwise, I still have my shield in case something like this happens. So that was a really, really good cooldown trade. There's a Mercy right by me. Honestly, I kind of like not thinking about the Mercy because she's super not killable at any point. And so now, because I held the space properly, it's only the Tracer doing stuff, which means that she can't go aggressively enough to even do anything because I held the space properly and had the proper cooldown trades. Let's take a look at these ultimates. So they're Maga switch, so there's nothing to fear. And then about ultimates for the tank. They're almost coming up on Pulse Bomb and Valk. 2 cooldowns that I can't really do much, or 2 ultimates I can't really do much, and they have Trance, while I have just my Sigma ult. So the hope is that I pressure out or someone pressures out the Transcendence so that I could safely use my Flux or effectively use my Flux, but let's see what happens. Yeah, this is pretty much the beginning of a fight, and then a Tracer's just to the right. So that's all the information you need to know for this fight.
So it's not up to you to force out Transcendence?
It's equally everyone's job to look at the Transcendence. But if I can't shoot him, then obviously I can't do it. So yeah. He failed his cooldown trade because he just rocked right into my shield. This is a really important macro that I do, especially against really high damage, especially with the Discord Orb. I like to use kind of all 3 cooldowns a little all at once, which could sound kind of bad, but the only person who I was in the line of sight of was this Bastion. So if I trade out my cooldowns, I have my overhealth for his form, for when he goes super mode, and then I put up my shield so that I have nothing to fear, and then immediately rock him so that I'm completely safe while I rock, so I can't be stunned out of my rock. To be fair, Sigma already used his rock, so it wasn't much to be afraid of in terms of getting stunned, but this shield is helpful for me to not lose a ton of health. I arguably could not have done that and then save my shield and then use my overhealth as a resource, but I didn't want to put stress on my Zenyatta. Actually, no, it's not really stress on my Zenyatta because he could just heal. So, debatably, I could have played this either way, but I think this is a 5 play, especially because he still has form for a little. Oh yeah, that's an important macro too. I'm actually smarter than myself. The reason I use that shield is that I could keep my overhealth so that I could flux. 99% of the time, I personally use my suck before my flux so that I don't have anything to fear of dying when I use my flux. And then we're just gonna back up. I don't want to fight that Transcendence, but we use the payload as cover, trying to get some good cooldown trades. My soldier's on the right, so he's pressuring him out really good. That's what that bullet's coming to Bastion. I notice the Bastion's getting low, so I just shoot him. Bad cooldown trade for him. I was able to get some kills, force out everything. All that's left is a Tracer, which we hopefully kill. Oh well. Missed both shots on him, missed many shots on him. Thought he would blink to the right, and then he just blinked down the hole, which kind of confused me, which is why I stood there, but that's alright. Damage for the fight. Putting down my shield immediately. Why? Because the shield won't do anything. Backing up, backing up. No, they have rock. Yeah, their timing for the cooldowns was actually really, really unfortunate because the Bastion uses form, and exactly when I used my suck to trade that out, he already used his rock to stun me. So that was a misplay. Plus, he's barely overextended to the left, which means that their Bastion, to get value, would have to play a little further out, which is kind of not what you want to do if I'm getting traded out like this. So I believe the Sigma is in that position. I somehow hit the Mercy. That's alright. He's pushing forward with his suck, so I just kite it. Dodge the rock because I'm a genius. He's using his shield kind of pointlessly, debatably. But so far so good. Cooldown trades are happening. Kind of just have to chill, not much I could do. A lot is happening, so I take cover over here. I'm like, no, don't shoot the suck, but it's okay. I probably have to back up debatably. I would have backed up, but the thing is both of their DPSs were getting low, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have a support ultimate, so I was like, alright, why not? And so I just went for it, and the Vedra was able to die. Cooldown trade again. Is consistently getting that. Rocked him. I kind of lost all of my overhealth because I didn't shield rock, I just rocked. So that's why you want to do that. If you notice, I'm actually getting my ultimate every fight because how well I'm using my cooldowns to just survive and trade out, and I'm not dying, which is really, really good. Go for the backline. Why not? Hit the Zenyatta. I thought the Bastion would just die, so I didn't really shoot him. Hit the rocks, unfortunately. But they're alive. And slam dunk LeBron James. As I'm going down, I hit that Mercy. Yes, sir.
The desired result may soon reveal
Venture coming in, jumping through the top. I see the ping. I'm like, what the heck is happening? But even though the Venture's in, it's not my job to deal with that. I have to hold them back as the Venture's going in on his own. So I have to waste their time while he's going in. So I just throw a couple shots. But I'm still holding high.
beyond this flame.
And that was an insane Sigma game, bro. Like this. So this is my stats. Accretion kills. Accretion's the rock. Weapon accuracy, blah, 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 whatever. But this was crazy. Because this was all in 10 minutes. I was able to get some really, really good cooldown trades for the Bastion and their entire, like, composition. And this was a really, really intense game. And my Zenyatta and my DPSs played really, really well. My Lifeweaver gave me a ton of healing, which I appreciated. But it's kind of equivalent on both sides. But because I was able to stay alive with 4 deaths and pressure them out and pressure the right people, I was able to withstand like a Bastion, a Tracer, Discord Orb, a Ramatra punching me, and a Mercy and a boosted like Mercy Pocket. I was able to withstand that at Sigma on King's Row. And that was a long hold at the end, like 5 minutes and 44 seconds of straight up getting beat up and barely surviving. Especially when they had Ramatra ult and Zenyatta ult. But I did always trade out really good ultimates or really good cooldowns for your suck. So if you can create an advantage with your cooldown trades, because every time that Bastion used his form, I was able to use my suck to gain overhealth and like sustain myself and trade out a cooldown really, really well. I was able to increase the resource of my health bar so that I could be more aggro, in which it was more of an advantage because the more aggro I could go safely, the more my team can push, the more angles my team can push, the more space is created, and the more I could hit my primary fire and my rocks. And because I was playing so far back and preemptively kiting different cooldowns like Ramatra's Shield and Ramatra's Vortex, or like a Pulse Bomb or something, or Zenyatta ult, Ramatra ult, all those things, because I was moving back preemptively, I was not getting caught, in which I was able to decrease my deaths, which is really, really important as tank, where you don't want to die at all. Because you're playing tank, your people will kind of just follow you. So if you're backing up, you encourage your whole team to back up, which means your team would die less. Which means that their enemy team died more than our whole team did. So yeah, that is that VOD. I feel like I played really, really well. Thank you all for watching. That is Professor Chase signing out.
Thanks for coming on the show, Dr. Chase. We appreciate the input and we appreciate your coverage of what an exciting, intense game that was, especially on King's Row. I find that map especially difficult for me personally.
It's true.
All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Of course.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch the next replay in the next video. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe for more.